thank you all so much for checking out my Dorfromantik high school videos. I've been amazed by the overwhelmingly positive feedback I've received for them, and I'm really glad that, despite their length, they've been enjoyable to watch. Along with the feedback, there have also been a lot of questions, which basically go along the line of, "Mate, how did you do it? What's your process? Give us some hints and tips." So, as promised, and without further ado, let's get into it. I'd like to go through a number of things to look out for when laying out your tiles, and reveal to you the method I used to get my most recent high score of 70,000. But first, I think we need to go through some of the basics for the sake of those who are new to this game. Quests are the very first thing you will notice when you start to play Dorfromantik. Each different type of tile, be it trees, houses, fields, tracks or rivers, will at some point give you a quest to complete. Some of these will be for a specific number, while others will have a plus sign on them, indicating that you need to get that number or more. Of the two, the plus quests are a lot easier to achieve. When you complete a quest, you get 100 points towards your score and 5 new tiles to play with. Further to this, if the quest you completed had a little triangle on it, a flag is dropped on your group. What that flag is asking you to do is close off the group completely by enclosing it. Doing so gives you another 100 points and 5 more tiles. As you can start to see, quests are important, both for points and especially for new tiles. However, they're not the only thing to be mindful of. Every tile has 6 sides. We call that a hexagon. When you place a tile next to another tile, if the touching edges are of the same type, say a house with another house, a field with another field, grass with grass, and so on, then you get 10 points towards your score. This applies to all sides of a hex, so if you match all 6 sides with the tiles around it, you get a total of 60 points. This is what we call a perfect. The single most important thing you need to know if you want to get a high score is that placing a perfect tile will then grant you an extra tile. Let me repeat it, in case you missed it. If you get a perfect tile, this game gives you another tile to use. All of a sudden, your game blows wide open. No longer are you relying on quest completion alone to get a high score. Now, every single move you make becomes extremely important for how your game plays out. Because if you stuff up one edge alignment, that's not 10 points you missed out on. That's 2 extra tiles you've foregone. Tiles which could have been used to generate more perfects, more points, more tiles. So you see, with this built-in game mechanic, Dorfromantik turns into something else completely, and can be likened to chess, where you're planning out your moves well in advance. Keeping these 2 concepts in mind, quests and perfects, it's time to reveal the method. I've dubbed this the big group method, because as the name implies, the focus is on creating big groups for each tile type. In my most recent 70,000 high score run, I was actively trying to stick to this layout, and I believe that it significantly improved my game. As you will notice, I've separated the game board into zones. The green zone is one big forest, which runs right through the board. The red zone is the house group, the yellow, the fields, brown train tracks, and blue rivers. In between the brown and blue are the train stations, which connect the two and help with those nasty little tiles that combine rivers and tracks. The most important thing to note about this method is that the forest plays a central role. Why play the forest? Because the quests you receive for forests will always have a plus sign on them. As mentioned earlier, plus quests are a lot easier to complete than those with a set number requirement. So, by allowing your forest to border on every single tile type, as I've done in this game, you can fully utilize the combination tiles that contain trees. This is what I call bleeding, as you can see here, where the different areas bleed into the forest. The same applies to your house and field areas, and to your tracks and rivers via the train stations. I think that by doing it in this way, it will ensure that you're not wasting tiles, scattering them haphazardly across the board. This should, hopefully, allow you to complete your numbered quests at a faster rate and unlock new tiles. Alongside this method, I also play an open game, and I highly recommend you do the same. What I'm referring to here is planning out your board effectively for perfect tile placement. Try not to box yourself in for a crazy tile combination, which, honestly, may never come. Keep your game open to allow for common tiles to be attached. This means one-type tiles, regardless of their number, or simple combinations which you may see occur on a regular basis. With this strategy, practice makes perfect, so give it a go. And in time, you will start to see the patterns and get better and better at laying out your tiles. You don't have to play a bad hand. If you can't match the first few tiles and start setting yourself up for perfects, just start again. This is especially true if you intend on trying out the big group method. I think I restarted about 10 times for my 70,000 high score run until I got the right tiles in the right areas and I was happy to continue with the game. When a quest comes up for a specific number and you don't believe it's worth achieving on its own, get rid of it. If you play like I do with large groups, move the quest to the relevant area, and if there are too many of that type there, an X will appear, and the quest will be removed. What I think that does is free up the game to give you more quests. To me, that makes more sense than wasting tiles to achieve an absurd number, only to get 100 points and 5 extra tiles for your trouble. Water tiles are a bit funny. When you place them, you get 10 points for every edge that it touches, regardless of what it is. But keep in mind, it's a full water tile. Apart from rivers, train stations and other full water tiles, it does not match the other tiles around it. You need to consider this in your tile placements if you're going for perfects. That's pretty much everything in a nutshell, and I really hope that helps to improve your game. But I also need to add a disclaimer. The method I've presented to you is not the perfect method, but rather something that has made logical sense to me based on the information that I have had and my experience playing the game. Recently, one of the assumptions I had made regarding quest numbers has been challenged, and I now find myself wondering whether enclosing quests are actually worth completing. What does it mean for my method? I don't yet know, but I intend to find out, and I'll let you know in due course. There's a saying, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. In other words, we help each other out. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, leave a comment, or better yet, subscribe. It will really help this little channel grow and give me the confidence I need to keep making content for you. That's it from me. In honor of the birthplace of Dorfromantik, auf Wiedersehen und danke fürs Zuschauen. Thanks for watching. Until next time.